you somehow haven't seen, I have been very busy building my very own custom theme park in Planet Coaster 2, Discovery Studios, and so far we have one fully completed area, and in the last episode moved on to the next, the Wallace and Gromit themed land with a brand new Intamin motorbike sidecar coaster, which we constructed the entire layout of last time, and also this lovely recreation of West Wallaby Street. Well, today I'm going to be adding some new rides to that area, and there was going to be one more, but I do need your help with that one, and I'm going to be theming up the majority of that coaster, and I'm even going to reveal the next dark ride and what that's going to be. Yeah, there's a lot going on this episode. So if you haven't already and you do enjoy this series, then please be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future episodes. Because there's going to be a lot more to come as we're not even halfway through this series yet. Yes, welcome back to episode 7 of Discovery Studios. As you can see, very strange start. This is not often we start with something like this. Usually it's like, oh, I'm building a coaster, or oh, we're building like a piece of theming that you can really tell what it is. And right now you probably can't until I put this beak on. Yes, that is Feathers McGraw, as you can see, a very prominent character in especially the most recent film of Wallace and Gromit, and many before. I'm building an art-shaped version of him. There's going to be so much random stuff in this episode, I can't lie to you. We've got building these characters right off the start, we've got theming up the entire coaster, and also adding those extra few rides with that sort of idea I had of the fair in that town. There's so much going on, and then in real time I'm going to show you what the dark ride's going to be, and I'm also going to show you through all of the different scenes we have on the coaster, everything like that. So there's so much to go through, so be sure to stay tuned to the end. Yes, we built the motorbike sidecar coaster last time. That was such a fun episode. I really enjoyed the entire build process of that. You guys seemed to love it, and there were so many ideas in the comments for the different shops in the West Wallaby Street area and the different storylines of the coaster. So many different ideas, and I really do appreciate you guys getting on board and just giving those ideas in the comments. It's been really, really fun to read, and as you can see, Norbot being built now. This one was quite fun to make, although I can never get the faces right, because I end up making it just a smile. And that's not really Norbot, because he should have teeth and everything, as should Wallace, but they look terrifying with teeth, I can't lie. But yeah, I really do appreciate all the comments on that video, and the videos before that as well, just helping with sort of ideas and stuff, because I have gone and put in some shops that you'll see, whether it be in the time-lapse, I can't remember if I filmed that or not, or whether, well, if it's in there or not, you'll see it in real time, and I'll talk about the inspiration for that, because you guys had loads of ideas for them, and also the rides that I'm going to put in later as well. It's not really a groundbreaking episode. We're not really doing a lot. We're putting in some new, smaller rides, you know, making a separate little sub-area to this one, and at the same time theming up the entire coaster. So I guess it is a bit of a big episode, but there's not like a standout thing that we're doing, such as building a new dark ride or building a new coaster. So don't get your hopes up too high. Don't want to make you mislead into thinking we're building some huge new ride. No, it's just smaller things here and there and completing that coaster. But here we go. Gromit is now being built. Norbot actually does look quite good. I think Norbot might be my favourite one out of the 4 that I built, just because I think he looks the most like Norbot in the films, because the others look way too plasticky, I think, which I guess sort of works for Norbot because he's a fake robot, but the others is a human, a dog, and a penguin, or chicken, whatever you want to call him. So I feel like it's harder to get away with using the art shapes as skin or as their actual sort of body proportions and stuff. It's a lot harder to get right. I mean, his head looks like a light bulb right now, let's be honest. Gromit is now a light bulb. I mean, you're going to see these actual models all around the rides that are in this area. You're going to see them on the coaster. You're going to see them on the dark ride as well, and I'll reveal what that is later. And of course, this entire coaster is going to have the storyline of Vengeance Most Foul. You're going to see various Norbots around, whether they be the actual Norbot towards the end where it's been rebooted and he's actually back to normal, or when he's taken over by Feathers McGraw, which I realise anyone that doesn't know what Wallace and Gromit is, seeing a penguin take over a robot that a human has made makes absolutely no sense without context, but there we go. as will the next ride that I'm building, the Big Dark Ride. That'll make no sense without context as well, so have fun with that if you've never watched the films. But the new coaster that we've built will be based on that brand new film, and you're going to sort of take to the skies-ish on the motorbike and sidecar and go around all these different scenes, and then eventually you're going to find different Norbots around that have turned evil. Then you're going to see Feathers McGraw, something's going to go wrong, and then you'll beeline it straight back, and Norbot will be fine again. You've rebooted him. So I'll show you all that later on, and also you'll see it on this time lapse. Anyway, as you can see, Wallace is terrifying. I mean, his mouth alone, of course, because he's got that sort of weird cheek structure, you know, he's like, his mouth is like huge, and it outwidths the entirety of his upper head. Yeah, it makes no sense. So I've tried my best to do that. I have had to try and add a face to him, but it's just a couple circles. It looks horrible. He is terrifying. But I've never done anything like that in this game before, or Planet Coaster 1, building some characters like that out of art shape. So it's a new skill to add to my very small skill set. But that will come in very useful later down the line, being able to build those characters, because in this park, we're not just going to have one area themed to characters like that. There's going to be a couple that will have some characters in them. So stay tuned. No one knows what the next 3 areas are going to be. I don't even know what I'm going to build next. I know what the next areas are going to be, but I have no idea what one I want to build next. Although I feel like I do, because the coaster type is going to be very, very cool to use for the first time. And I really can't wait to get started on that. You know what? I've decided now. I've decided what one I'm going to build. And as you can see, I decided what to build first on the coaster as well. I started with the Welcome to the Zoo brick wall sign. I knew for a fact on this coaster, obviously, like I said, I don't know where to start with it. I don't know what to theme up first. I don't know whether to build something that I didn't have planned or just sort of start placing trees around. So I thought, the one bit that I know I want to do on this coaster is the coaster jumping over the brick wall to the zoo. And I decided this would be the place that it happens after that very strong launch, after you do that sort of circular scene. Again, we'll see it later. This part is going to be great. You're going to sort of get that height over the wall of the zoo and then plummet down, and you're going to see the scenery completely change. Of course, you had the sort of trees and the lakes before. Now it's going to be an actual zoo enclosure type thing, and you're going to head through the lion enclosure like they do in the film. And yeah, there's going to be loads of stuff in there, but the loads of stuff that's in there doesn't make sense unless you know where you're going. And of course, some people might not know the Wallace and Gromit films, and they're just riding this coaster because it looks really cool. So the Welcome to the Zoo sign from Wrong Trousers, and I guess any of the films really, that makes a great statement as to, oh, you're about to jump over into the zoo. Welcome. So this isn't the normal route into the zoo, of course, but this is a great way to sort of tell people this is where you're going inside, and then you'll really be able to tell once you're in there. And that sort of penguin decal on the wall with the text and the little jail window in the O of the zoo word, and those are all from Wrong Trousers. That is literally just inspired by that. I had a photo up, I recreated it, and yeah, you've got that going on that wall. Well, I say going on, it's already on. I feel like I'm way behind talking. I've put a massive gate in, there's loads of trees. Now there's like a river going in and some lake stuff. Yeah, there's just so much happening in this area before the zoo, because obviously you're going to have that wall around when you go into the zoo, and then you're also going to smash out of the wall. Going to have to make that later on. And at the same time, I've got to then have the finale section in this same area as the start. So trying to make an area where it's not too heavily themed, but it looks nice enough where you can't sort of get confused with where you're at in the story was quite difficult. But we got there in the end. You can see it's very sort of grown over with trees, and there's loads of rocks around, and it's a little bit generic, but here and there you'll see theming that does relate to what part of the story you're on, and there's a lot of onboard audio, so you'll understand it completely as you're going round. Here we go. I've started building it ages ago already. I'm again really behind. As you can see, I am now building the round table sort of workshop place. I don't really know what to call it other than that, because that's my idea. I want this to be Wallace's workshop of some kind, and you will go around it on the coaster and you'll see sort of an animatronic, obviously Wallace himself, point up at a screen and be like, oh, and the Norbots are headed towards the zoo. And then you will take that sort of slalom down, see a couple signs that say zoo this way, and then you'll have that one launch over the brick wall. So that's my sort of play into that there, if that makes sense. I still need to do the Wallace voice, which a lot of people did say in the last episode. I've almost nailed the Wallace voice. It's getting better. It's not great. It really isn't great, but I'm actually going to have to do some voiceover lines for this coaster, which is going to be hilarious, and I cannot wait to do it because it'll be so funny. I'll probably look back at it and cringe, but that's part of the fun, I think. You know, I'm not just going to have fun with the design of the ride and then the coaster building and then the theming and then stop there. No, we're going to have fun afterwards making audio. Not that we're going to be making the full audio, because a lot of the coasters here, because it's IPs, will be using soundtracks or music based on the games or whatever, but sort of curating it together with like voice lines and stuff like I'll be doing for this. I could probably make an entire episode on that, but it would be really funny to have those voice lines in this with my my bad impression. I'm really excited to do that, because I feel onboard audio is so important with rides, both in real life and in the game. Why not? You know, I've done the F1 coaster. Purely the audio of that is just a custom Formula 1 engine sound that I used and sort of had it accelerate and decelerate at the right times. And then you had the F1 test track ride as well. Similar thing, where you would have that accelerating noise and then the harsh braking, but also have Jeff from the F1 games back in the past, using him and his voice lines to sort of make this custom experience, which I really enjoyed. And you're going to see a lot more of that with this coaster and the next dark ride as well. And you're even going to see more after that, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the future episodes where we build so many more different areas, because those areas are going to have some big rides in them. I don't know if it will be the next area that has it or the one after, but one of those is going to have one or two of the biggest coasters in this park, so I'm very excited to build that. Some big thrill coasters coming up, so be sure to stay tuned. As you can see though, again, a million miles behind, we're building some canal boats, very much inspired from the film and also very British, so I thought it'd work really well as a little Easter egg. Nothing will happen on these. There might be some Norbots waving from it. That's about it. Nothing special. I just thought it'd be really cool to fly by when you've got this river there. Why not, you know, have these little canal boats, one chasing after the other like they are in the film. And yeah, you'll see the next one go in, and yeah, it's just a really nice way to end the ride, I think, just with some Norbots like waving at you, sort of like, oh, goodbye, see you later. But I thought it'd be a really nice like farewell from the Norbots, you know, oh, you've ridden this nice coaster, this nice family coaster, and you're having a nice farewell for riding it. So yeah, I thought it'd be really, really cool. And now we're building the transfer track area / the brick wall and the brick walls, plural, that house both the transfer track, maintenance bay, and the end of the ride, and the station, and the offload platform. Yeah, there's so much, and it's so random as well. So obviously I would make all these as different episodes, just so concise to one thing. So we build a brand new ride, or build the dark ride, and then maybe the next episode we build more rides or something like that. But I just don't have the time to fully build a dark ride in 1 week, which is why the next episode might be delayed a week. I don't know yet. Because obviously October has been very busy for me personally anyway. I've been doing a lot of stuff over in Bristol at Fear at Avon Valley. A really cool opportunity that arose, and very grateful for that. It's been really fun. So that's obviously kept me very busy throughout October. I don't know how I've still managed to build so much in this park and do so many videos, such as this past week in theme parks and stuff, whilst being over there half the time. But there we go. I'll take it. And yeah, so I don't know whether the next episode will be delayed or not, but just keep it in mind, just in case, because I might have to delay it. Because again, I don't want to rush things. I don't want to release a video of the dark ride half complete, and you're seeing it, and you're just like, you could have easily have waited an extra week, and we could have seen this whole thing. Which is why the F1 test track ride took so long, because I mean, I didn't want to rush that either, and I'm really glad I didn't, because you guys seem to really like that. I will be uploading a separate video of that. It's just the fact that I need to sort some of the lighting out, because I know the lighting was a bit weird in some of the rooms in there. So I'm going to definitely sort that out before I release the video of that fully. As you can see, just placing more stuff down. Just, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. The time lapse is really laggy for me today. I don't know what's happened to the time lapse. I hope it's not actually that laggy for you guys. I don't think it is, but right now all I can see is just roof, which is fantastic. But I'm placing down a lot of different chimneys now on the top of that entire roof of the actual final building. You're going to actually see Wallace and Gromit in their living room, or maybe in the workshop or something, just saying like, oh, we did it, well done. Even though Wallace did absolutely nothing. That really annoys me in every single film when Wallace says, we did it. No, Gromit did it, okay? You just sat at home and just watched. Or you just literally, you did nothing. Really annoys me. I need to stop talking about the politics of Wallace and Gromit. As you can see though, that entire building, not fully complete. We'll complete that later on. There is still so much to do, which is why I won't be POVing the coaster in this episode, but I will be showing you various different trigger points of what I've done with the ride. And I'll be showing you how that works off-ride. So you'll still see it, but just not on-ride yet, because I want to save that, again, for a separate video, and you'll see the full experience, which will be really, really cool. Now we are building those extra rides. As you can see, I've already placed in a chair-a-plane, which is a chair swing. I don't know why they didn't just call it that in the game, but oh well. A tiny eye as well, which is a small little Ferris wheel style ride. And I've also placed in the road, or the track, for the car ride, as you can see there. But that one will not be staying. Yes, that one will be getting removed. I sometimes do build rides and then remove them. I did that in the F1 area for good reason, because I'm actually going to go back and build another ride in there soon. I didn't say that though. You are actually going to see that car ride be removed very shortly. Original idea was to sort of make it the different cars that Wallace and Gromit drive, and sort of, you know, have the Were-Rabbit van and what's it, Anti-Pesto van, that was called, the Top Bun van as well, the Gnome Improvements van, all of them, and you drive them around. But first of all, making those vans outside of those cars would be a lot of pieces, and I don't know if it'd look right. Plus the fact that it just doesn't suit the fairground aesthetic that I'm going for in this area, because the theme I'm actually going for now, I did actually think about this last episode and I came up with it on the spot, is the fact that there's going to be some sort of celebration in the town, and this is going to be where some of the rides are that they've sort of added as part of that celebration, I guess. It's quite funny because I did see a comment, so shout out to this person for writing this comment, and it did remind me that the Grand Adventures game by Telltale, which is 4 different games based on Wallace and Gromit, and you would sort of, I guess it was a little bit sort of story based, where you would just sort of walk around and find things, and then I don't really know how to, it was just a story game, I guess. That had a very prominent storyline on one of them of a fair taking place in the town centre, and I feel like that is a really nice link to do with this as well. So it pretty much worked perfectly. Even if it wasn't in one of the films, it was in one of the games, so I managed to get that pretty spot on. And as you can see, just sort of building that area now. But yeah, that car ride just didn't suit what I wanted, which is why I need your guys' help to work out what I could put in its place. I did try and put a little log flume in, just sort of like a classic fairground one, but that felt a little bit too fairground. We don't want to go too like retro squad, that sort of end. We don't want to go that far. We just want to go to a point where it still feels themed in, but they're not rides that are going to be like a waltzer or like a sizzler type model or a twister, whatever it's called. I feel like those are too fairground like, whereas a chair swing and the tiny eye thing, you could get away with being in a fairground, but they also look like they fit into a theme park, which is what I want to go for. This is supposed to be a world-class theme park, so I don't want to put fairground rides in. That felt like a massive shot to towers, but I feel like it works quite well with the way I've done it here. In this little corner, you're going to have those bunting across the different lampposts. The only problem is you can already see a lot of painting on the floor of where I'm planning the next few areas. The area that's coming at some point next to this one, I don't know how I'm going to fit the one ride, or like I'm giving too much away now, but there's something I'm planning for that area which I don't know how I'm going to fit in, especially because it's going to be a big ride, and I just feel like that is just going to tower over these little fairground rides, so I don't really know what to do about that, but we'll find a way to work it out. But as you can see, more bunting's gone in, more little trees, more everything. What a great little analysis As you can see, it's just a nice area, you know. You walk around the sort of town area of the museum and go up the street. You'll see like the pub, the grocery shop, Wendeleen's Walls, which is now there. And then you'll sort of see the museum in front. Go to your left. Oh, there's a nice little fairground area that they've added just to celebrate something. I don't know what yet, but yeah, it's really, really cool. I'm glad I thought of that idea because it's worked really well. The only thing, like I said, with the coasters that I'm planning in the future, going over the tree line, that'll probably ruin that view, but I did actually check already if the chair swing ruins the view of this area. It does peak a little bit over the top of the buildings, but I don't think that matters too much because it's part of the area, and also fairground rides often do typically go quite tall, so they would tower over the buildings in the area. And you'd only have to be looking properly to try and see it, so I'm not too bothered about that. As I'm not bothered about showing you more trees and more bushes going in, because you know what they're like, let's just go into real time and have a look. Welcome to the Wallace and Gromit portal. We are here in real time and we're about to step through into West Wallaby Street. And here we are, as you can see, we have entered in and there's not a lot different from last time. And as you can see, there is the museum in front of us. You can see a little bit inside of what I'm doing in there, but I'm not going to show you that today, purely because there's way more of that to come. And as you can see over here, got a couple shops just to show you what we're working with the whole area. You got the canal trips, as you can see there, of course referencing, I guess, the canals at the end of the ride, and also in Vengeance Most Foul. And Wendeleen's Walls right here, which I thought I'd recreate the front of that shop with the wall, and that sort of sheep with the wool flying over its head, with the massive clock tower next to that and this ladder up it, which is sort of a reference to Close Shave again when they clean the clock tower, but it just looks alright. But that spinning wool feature in there from the films as well is what is inspiring me to maybe theme this little tiny eye thing too, because as you can see, we have now entered the funfair-esque area, and I haven't themed up any of the rides fully yet, but as you can see, I've given them a bit of colour. And this one I was really thinking of making based on the Bakelite brand, which is once again in Matter and Loaf of Death, one of the films, and it's sort of this Paella Bakewell. She is the person that flies a hot air balloon, and it's a bread brand. Yeah, it makes no sense. And then obviously that tiny eye I said about the wool. If you have any other ideas for either of these, then please do let me know, and also any name suggestions would be greatly appreciated. And also a suggestion for what could go here. As you can see, I've got a queue line in place over there already. We just need a ride, whether it be another flat ride, a tracked ride, or even a junior coaster of some sort. Leave some suggestions in the comments, I'd be interested to hear them. I'll definitely have that done for the next episode. As you can see, more sort of planting has gone up around the museum, and I've even started thinking about the area next to this and linking that up to this. But yes, as you can see, we're going to zoom out a little bit here. This area looks so unfinished right now. But if we quickly gloss over this entire queue line so far, as you can see, we are now in the area of the entire coaster and all of the different theming that I have done to it. Look how overgrown it is. And I'll take you through a little bit of what we've got so far. So as you can see, you exit out of the workshop-esque building there and you'll head quickly down into the woods, left and then right, quite close to the trees, and then you're going to launch all the way down here. So this section's quite generic so far, which I feel like I need to add something, but I can sort that out for next time. The second launch takes you into this very much sort of alleyway section between these two houses, and then you come up over the roof. I thought that'd be quite cool to get in somehow. Might make it feel like you're back on West Wallaby Street again, and then you come down here, you've got a couple different like fragile boxes, and these evil Norbots start appearing, but very hidden. And then yeah, you continue round, and then you enter into this building here, which I'm not going to show you the inside of just yet, because I still need to do a couple things. But it's quite a cool scene how you do sort of just go in and sort of turn around at a normal pace, and then come out this way, and then you'll see the zoo sign right there. And start heading towards the zoo wall. As you can see, that long straight down to it. Straight over the wall. And there's a really cool piece of like jeweling there that is literally, that was so coincidental. Into the zoo then, as you can see, this is very much a zoo enclosure. You can sort of tell by the pathways and the rocks, and also this little like apparatus and the wall at the back. So just trying to make that look a bit more like a zoo. Animal may bite. That sign has been ripped off as you crash through there. And this is one of my favorite sections here because it's so simple but so effective. As you can see, you've got an evil Norbot standing there with a lever, and he's going to flip that when the train comes past, and the this way sign goes to danger. I think that's so much sort of cooler than just having a danger sign that says this way. I think it's quite nice that it's flipping that switch and then the danger sign comes up, showing that you are going the wrong way and that you're going to go up that spike and then fall back down again. And that, I'm going to show you that later down the line, because I did a cool little animatronic in there based on the films that you might have just seen for a split second there. But yeah, I'll show you the full POV next time out in a separate video, because also as you spin around the penguin enclosure below, you do enter into a drop track section, which is quite a cool little part again. We'll show you that next time. As you come out of the sewers, which again, you might already be able to guess what happens in there. And then you launch out and you break through the zoo wall all the way around, and then you've hit your reboot buttons at that point. So Norbot is back to normal, even though the evil ones over here aren't. And then these guys are rebooting as well, which these guys on the floor look like they're dead, but they're just rebooting. And then towards the end, that final canal boat flyby, I'm going to potentially stick feathers on one of these and maybe Gromit on the other one or something, just to give it that sort of reference to the film again. But then you'll head into the final room, and I haven't done anything in there yet, but you're going to see Wallace and Gromit off to your left, and it'll be like, oh, you did it, or we did it again, because bloody Wallace. And also, I need to tell you guys what this dark ride over here is planned to be. Of course, you're going to enter in through 62 West Wallaby Street down here. The whole queue line will be based inside of Wallace's house back here in probably another warehouse. You'll go through his living room, kitchen, garden, and then eventually make your way into his basement. I haven't really thought about it fully yet, but there's going to be a pre-show where you're going to be shrunk down, and in this dark ride, you are going to become part of the train chase, which was in wrong trousers towards the end, when Wallace and Gromit are on the sort of model train set, chasing feathers around the room, going in and out of so many different scenes, and you're going to have so many things happening on there. And it's going to be a similar ride system to Mickey's Runaway Railway at Disney's Hollywood Studios, and I believe there's one in California. We rode that back in September, and it was an amazing ride. But even before that, my girlfriend, decided, oh, you know what would be cool if you made a Wallace and Gromit train chase version of that ride in your Planet Coaster Park. And I absolutely love that idea. So yes, we are going to build that entire dark ride over here. It's going to be a very difficult challenge because of how big the warehouse might end up being. So trying to keep that below the sort of house and tree line, whilst also making it a very fun ride, is going to be quite difficult. But I'm more than up for the challenge. And we have a big space to work with over there. So yes, very excited to get started on that. So subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. See you next time.